What's up, guys? It is manga time once again, and I'm here today to bring you Bleach 556, The Wolf's Bane. And you can see I can't really help but smile. This chapter, oh my god, this chapter. I literally just woke up, and it has completely made my day. It's so good. Now, if I'm queued up on my lore, I believe Wolfsbane helps werewolves keep their humanity, or something like that, which really fits this chapter, actually. So, but unfortunately, it starts off with Shinji being basically completely defeated. He's kind of flying backwards from the first explosion he received last week. And then we can see two of the kind of reishi orbs of Bambietta flying next to him, and then they blow up as well. So she really kind of blows everything up around Shinji. I don't think he's getting up anytime soon, but I think he probably will by the end of this fight, because I'm still expecting a Bankai from him in this fight. Bambietta's being her rather typically generic self, and she's just like, oh, you know, you can't beat me with any of this. But at least she does reveal that her epithet is in fact the Explode, which basically everyone called, even though most people thought it would be the grammatically correct version, the Explosion, but, you know, whatever. So she's Bambietta E, the Explode. Possibly a little bit boring, you know. At least Kubo, turns it on its head a little bit, but not really. It just, in my opinion, Bambietta is very generic. The fact that she's the main Sturmitter, and all she is your typical psycho bitch. Her attacks aren't even that. Well, I mean, like they create some pretty impressive panels. Like, that's a really cool angle. In fact, the one where she's floating above the city and you can just see this massive ring of explosion in front of her. That's cool. And it appears that the little sections on the bottom of her wings are what come flying off to cause the explosions. But yeah, I think she tries to blow up Shinji completely. However, Komomora has tanked the hit and he's standing above Shinji in his awesome Templar uniform. And then Momo jumps behind Bambietta in what is an absolutely gigantic fail of stupidity. Why the hell would you do that? She's literally just taken out Shinji in a single hit, and yet Momo's like, I'm going to attack you now. At least don't shout Captain, now Bambietta knows you're there, but whatever. So yeah, Momo tries to attack her. Bambietta pulls this actually very cool, crazy face, which, if any of you have seen Mirai Nikki, reminds me of Ninth so much. But before Tobiyume can make the hit, Komamura jumps in and defends her. He's such a bro. Komamura is so awesome. And he blocks the explosions from hitting Hinamori. And he's like, you know, you're too impulsive. Tobiyume's not enough to negate the blasts. So at this point, they still think that all Bambietta does is throw explosions at you. And she tries to attack him, and Komomora, you know, it's cool we get this in a little monologue. He's able to work out at least what he thinks he can do to stop it. He kind of has to dodge them because there's a delay from when the moment hits a target and then explodes. We find out why that is later on, but Komomora just thinks it's due to the explosions. He thinks he can repel the attack with his brute force, but then he seems to realise that Bambietta's attacks are not that simple. Basically, the little orbs that she throws, they're not explosions. They are basically just her reishi that she throws into people, and she can basically put it into anything and then cause an explosion. Kind of like Kimberly from FMA, except she's less cool. But yeah, so that is kind of neat. But the truth is, anything I imbue with my reishi becomes the bomb. So that must be what she did to Hirako. She put her reishi inside him and blew him up from the inside out. That's really crazy, actually. I mean, how the hell did he even survive? But, yeah, so she keeps throwing her reishi at them. Now, Komomora puts his hand on the ground next to Shinji, and I think this is kind of Kubo's way of, like, giving you a quick hint of what's about to happen next, because it appears that Komomora's fur is no longer covering his entire hand. So, yeah, that's a massive explosion, like a huge explosion, and we get to see Komomora. Oh my god. That is awesome. Dude looks really, really cool. He kind of looks like... It looks a little bit like a mix of Kensei and Ginjo. He has really long white hair, which I would kind of say is a bit like a mane. He now only has one shoulder pad, which makes him look really cool. But basically, he's human. But he's got wolf ears, and he's got hair on his forearms. And he's also got some big plate over his heart, which is important later on. But yeah, he looks really cool, really cool. And this is his real form as well, actually, we find out later. We get a nice little flashback now of him with his grandfather. Bit of a shame we didn't get to see this fight, but Komomora defeated him. And so his grandfather reveals the hidden power, human metamorphosis technique. We get some really interesting stuff now. Basically, Komomora is a werewolf. And there's another place called the Animal Realm, which I presume is the animal version of Soul Society. But I'm not entirely sure. Apparently they committed sins, and they were sent to the Animal Realm, but then they managed to return to Soul Society at some point. By temporarily casting aside those chains of sin, the clan can revert back to human form and get immeasurable power. So I presume these wolf forms of theirs were imposed upon them as punishment for something they did. God knows what, and God knows who by either, because it clearly wasn't Yamamoto otherwise. Well, Yamamoto just doesn't have that kind of power, and why would he take in Seijin, and why would Seijin have such respect for him? I'm kind of thinking it was the Spirit King, but God knows how. We need another flashback, at least one more. But Komamura asks, how do I achieve that state? And frankly, this is probably the biggest moment of the chapter, because I think it's going to mean the death of Komamura in the near future. His grandfather says that he has to gouge out his own heart and place it in this dish. That is insane. And you see, like, Komamura is like, can I do this? And he decides in the end that basically his grandfather says, it's nothing to be ashamed of, because there is no reason you should have to throw your life away for a Shinigami. And we get this whole reiteration, which is wonderful, I think, because pretty much Komomura's first line in the manga is, if Genryusai wants me to die, then I will die for Genryusai, or something like that. And we go back to this now, it's kind of full circle. Because he's like, even after I abandoned my clan and tried to seek refuge, Genryusai took me in, and then he was slaughtered by the Quincy. So, I will not only make amends for the clan, but I will also avenge Yamamoto. And so he takes out his heart. So Komomura, I think, is now, obviously it should be dead, but it's fiction. I think he's now running on empty. I think this is like a Mugetsu kind of thing. This is a one-time, last-ditch thing. Where he will be dead by the end of this. I think he'll revert back to a wolf and die. We do need more information, and hopefully we'll get it in the coming weeks. But very cool, and it does make me wonder about the outcome of the fight, though. If this turns out to be Komomura's final stand, then I don't see how he can lose, unless Kubo's really out of order. But I think, contrary to popular belief, that Kubo actually really likes Komomura. I know Komomura gets beaten up a lot, but he always gets the epic entrances. He always looks very cool. He gets a lot of panel time, Komomura, as well, which is fine by me. I've always liked Komomura, and I've always defended him. And it seems that this chapter is only bringing him up in people's estimations. But he is very cool, and this is just awesome. And then he pulls out his Zanpakuto and he goes Bankai, Kokujo, Tengen, Mio, Gangai, Jaw. Wow, that looks amazingly cool. Now, I have to think, is this Bankai holified? Could be. Basically, it looks a little bit like Susanoo from Naruto. It's kind of like a giant Oni demon with a funky moustache, but he looks well cool though. He's got like flaming eyes, giant horns, big ropes wrapped around his chest. It looks very, very, very cool. But basically, I don't know if this is holified or if this is just like it's obviously going to be more powerful than the regular Bankai, but it could be. I'm pretty sure it's. In fact, I'm 100% sure it's what his Bankai looks like underneath its armour, because you can see the armour breaking away. So, Dangai Jaw finally is a power-up for Komomura. Finally, and and it looks very cool. It looks very cool. I'm really happy. This chapter gets a 10 out of 10 from me, because I love Komomora, and it's about time you got some really cool stuff. The revelation of like his true form is insane. It's kind of one of the things you never really think about, but at least we kind of have a little bit of backstory on him, but we do need more. I definitely think he's going to be dead by the end of this, though. That seems like a curtain call to me. I am kind of torn, though, because I think he should win this. Definitely should win this. Whether he will or not, I don't know, but you also kind of think that this should be the battle where Shinji brings out his Bankai. So, I tell you what I would like to see. I would like to see Komomora fighting really well, but not winning. But he doesn't lose either, and then Shinji comes back and helps him. Momo's there now, she can heal Shinji. Shinji comes back in, Bankais, and the two of them take her down. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I'd really like that. In other words, Bambietta's Volston Dig hasn't really changed her at all. She's got wings and a halo, that's it. So that's a bit of a shame. I don't know why Kurgis was so special. I think predictions for next week will probably stay with this battle for a little bit longer. I'm giving it maybe 2-3 more chapters, I think. I reckon so. Because I think we'll get I hope anyway, we'll get a chapter pretty heavily dedicated to backstory for Komomora. Bambietta's not going down yet, though. That's another thing. She's not going down yet. She's far too major. God, it's a great chapter. Absolutely great chapter. 10 out of 10. Easy. I still can't really get over it. Human Komomora. Oh my god. Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. Awesome. Panel of the week, man. I want to give it to the Bankai, the new Bankai of Komomora, because it looks amazing. But I also kind of want to give it to the panel where you first see his human form. Not only does it look very cool, but it's also such a major moment for the character. Wow. I'm going to give it to the Bankai. I mean, it looks amazing. You know, that design. The detail that's gone into that as well. Wow, I mean, that is cool. So yeah, it's great for Komomora to get this development, for it to come full circle. However, I do think it's possibly he's going to die soon, because of the heart thing. And, you know, his grandfather makes it very clear that, you know, you would be sacrificing your life. So I do think this is kind of a last-ditch thing for Komomora, which makes me kind of wonder if he does die, who would take over Squad 7, because Squad 8 is vacant as well. I don't know why Love hasn't come back yet. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Eba's, I wouldn't say Eba was... Where is Eba, anyway? Yeah, so, interesting chapter. Bit disappointed that Shinji kind of didn't do anything, really. But I think he'll probably be back up on his feet in the next couple of chapters. But that's it for me this week, guys, I think. 10 out of 10, easy. What do you think of I've got so much to ask you. What do you think of Komomora's human form? What do you think of his new Bankai? What do you think about Bambietta being the Explode? Is that a little underwhelming to you? It's a bit underwhelming to me, I think. And what do you think of Komomora's fate? Do you think I'm right? Is this gonna be his death knell, basically? And how do you think the battle's gonna go? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. But apart from that, guys, I shall see you later. See ya.